Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I recently spoke with former federal agent and paranormal investigator Ben Hansen, who is from Utah, all about his all-new show, UFO Witness. It was a lot of fun to hear more about this. Let's take a look at our conversation. We are not alone. Former federal agent and paranormal investigator Ben Hansen is reopening case files from some of the most credible UFO encounters in history in his new Discovery Plus series, UFO Witness. These are files that have been hidden from the public for decades. Ben Hansen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit more about UFO Witness.
So UFO Witness is kind of one of the most different UFO shows that I've hosted. It's really my style. It's a gritty kind of documentary. We interview people who have had experiences with iconic UFO cases from the 50s and 60s, which was the book era of the Air Force, where this project was the official investigation at the time. And we retraced the steps of Dr. Jalen Hynek, who was the main consultant to the project. So we take those, and then we take modern day sightings and very impactful events to compare and contrast to see if there's, patterns here. And do those patterns help us kind of solve this grand mystery of what's going on?
I mentioned that these are files that have been hidden from the public for decades. I can speculate about maybe the reasons why these files have been hidden, but why do you think that they have not been revealed to the public until now?
Well, we actually know exactly why they've been hidden, because the government did a study in 1952, sponsored by the CIA, by the Brookings Institute. And what the conclusion was is they wanted to know, if we did have information we've been visited, should we tell the public? Don't say anything, because the people can't handle it. They believed at the time that institutions like religion, the government, these things would collapse with this information. So they devised a policy of ridicule, debunking, actually threatening in some cases witnesses, and trying to make them believe that they were. So that continued for decades until, not too recently, where they finally started to kind of have a perception change, I think, because the people are demanding to know the truth, and it's more like a social movement now. We're getting documents that are being released, and there's a snowball effect. Hopefully it gets the powers that be realized that we can start to handle some of this information, and I think that's why we're seeing it happen now.
And you grew up here in Utah, and I'm curious, have you always been interested in UFOs?
Ever since I remember, there was the movie theater's not there anymore, but it was down on I think about 20th Street. It was in Holiday, I think. There was a movie theater that looked like a big turtle shell, and I remember watching E.T., and that's the first movie I remember seeing at that movie theater, and I was like, wow, extraterrestrials, and I was so interested from that point onward. Utah was a great place to grow up, to cultivate that interest, because the Uinta Basin, we have property out in Duchesne, and that area is just a hot spot of UFO activity. You have the Western Desert, you have Dugway. It's Area 52, we call it, right? We have an episode in our series where we explore what's going on out there. And then Hill Air Force Base, connected with my grandfather and his work, going to Wright-Patterson Air Force in Ohio. It's kind of like a hub for so many things going on. If you're interested in UFOs, Utah was a great place to grow up.
And what made you decide to put your efforts into this show in particular?
When I was approached with the concept and kind of helped steer it in ways that I would like to do a show, it was perfect, because I love documentaries. It's kind of more my style, and you get more time to talk to witnesses. I love that this show focuses a lot on their story, and so you have a lot of recreations that are very dramatic. You get to feel the emotion that those people feel when they have these experiences. And then also we have the access to the information, like the blue files and archives, the personal files of Dr. Hynek, and then also, sadly, Jenny Zeidman passed away. She was a personal research assistant of Hynek. She did. We were able to get some really gold, from what it was like to work with Hynek and all that information, her personal insights. And so kind of combined all together, when they approached me, we discussed it. I said, this is exactly the type of show I want to do. It's not only entertaining, but it also gets real information to people.
Right, exactly. Real information. I am so looking forward to tuning into UFO Witness. Thank you so much, Ben Hansen, for joining us here on Park City Television.